Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Dungeons & Dragons, and we're going to talk about Vorugal, the Frigid Doom, an ancient white dragon with a breath weapon of ice. Alright, so, of course, this is all brought to us by Dungeons & Dragons' greatest champion today, which is Matthew Mercer. So he gathered some people together, Laura Bailey, Ashley Johnson, Taliesin Jaffe, Travis Willingham, Sam Riegel, right? They brought them all together, and and each week, says, hey, my love of Dungeons and Dragons is going to be your love of Dungeons and Dragons. I'm going to be your dungeon master. You guys are going to be our players, and we're going to illustrate for the entire world the best Dungeons and Dragons stories that are possible, right? And so, today. Matthew Mercer is just crushing it, doing an amazing job of telling Dungeons & Dragons stories. And he has brought us the very best Dungeons & Dragons story of 2023 is Legends of Vox Machina Season 2. Okay? And I keep saying Season 3. I think that's just wishful thinking in my head. Because we don't know if there'll be a Season 3. We don't know if there'll be another Dungeons & Dragons book ever printed. We don't know if there'll be Dungeon Masters will be allowed. We don't know if FLGSs will sell Dungeons & Dragons. So while we're here and while we still have incredible Dungeons & Dragons champions like Matthew Mercer telling incredible Dungeons & Dragons stories that were crafted from, throughout by Dungeons & Dragons, let's enjoy them, right? Because this may be our last moment that we're allowed to enjoy Dungeons & Dragons. In 1983, a group of people came and said, D&D be gone. We don't want D&D to exist. And they persecuted people to make sure that D&D didn't exist. And in 2023, a group of people came along and they said, D&D be gone. And we don't want Dungeons & Dragons to exist. And they persecuted people. And so, right now, in this moment, let's celebrate what we have left. Okay? You and I are the last stalwart remnant. Let's celebrate Dungeons & Dragons. So let's talk about the greatest Dungeons & Dragons story of 2023, which is Legends of Vox Machina Season 3. Spoilers for all of Legends of Vox Machina here, which is available on Amazon Prime. Thank you to Amazon Prime for being one of the few companies that will continue to rally in support of Dungeons & Dragons. We really appreciate it. The stalwart remnant who still love Dungeons & Dragons. So let's talk about Vorugal, the Frigid Doom, the Ancient White. So Matthew Mercer, crafted this dragon, and it is incredible, right? So Vorugal, the Frigid Doom, the Ancient White, is a member of the Chroma Conclave, okay? And the Chroma Conclave is a group of evil dragons, and they are dedicated to their own power. That is their end result, right? They are dedicated to making sure that their power is unquestioned and that they have hordes that they want, and they put themselves above community. I don't know if you caught this, but actually there's a very interesting definition of evil in Dragonlance Shadow of the Dragon Queen, which is when you put yourself above community. That's really fascinating. That's very fascinating, actually. Yeah, so basically, you have all this happening, right? And so basically, Vorugal comes down, right? And it comes to the city where Vox Machina is, right? With Scanlan and Grog and Vex and Vax and Trinket, and Pike Trickfoot. I'm forgetting the cleric's name, right? But Trickfoot, I think, is her name. And and they're there in the city celebrating with actually they're going over what had happened and their triumphs in Season 1. And the king is there, and the king makes an announcement, and then the dragons show up, and they absolutely destroy the city. They just wreck it. And Vorugal, this ancient white, uses its breath weapon. And what I thought was really interesting was the Vorugal saw incredibly fast, incredibly deadly, right? And when Vorugal breathes its breath weapon, it explodes into these gigantic spiked boulders of ice, right? And it can smash it can smash buildings, and then the buildings fall on the people below, right? So one of the things I thought was really interesting was Vorugal was able to kill anything and anyone that she attempted to kill. That was very clear in Season 2, Episode 1 of Legends of Vox Machina. But one thing that was really fascinating, I think we need to pay attention to right now, is Vorugal dropped down, right? And was like, oh, okay, there's a group of people. I'm going to destroy that group of people, right? And so, in order to destroy the people who are like on the third floor of the building, she just planted a gigantic ice cube in the middle of that building, and it killed everyone on the third floor, right? But what was really fascinating was the building came down, spilled across into the open sections, and killed probably 10 or 20 people with one breath weapon burst. She killed like 50 people, right? 30 she intended, and 20 she did not, right? But she didn't care. She didn't care about. So she was like, I'm going to make this thing gone, right? And so her target is damaged, but a whole bunch of people that Vorugal did not intend to damage are also damaged, right? Pretty incredible, very important to pay attention to right now, right? And what I thought was really, really fascinating with Vorugal, the Frigid Doom, this ancient white dragon, member of the Chroma Conclave, was Matthew Mercer makes it very clear that, like, we've had this huge problem. We've had this huge problem in Dungeons & Dragons. It's a really, really big problem. And the problem is, what do we do with dragons, right? Like, the game is called Dungeons & Dragons, so logically, player characters like, I'm going to slay that dragon. And the Dungeon Master's like, you're like not, right? And the reason why is, and one of the things that's really valuable, right, is because Gary Gygax did his work, because Lorraine Williams did her work, because Ryan Dancey did his work, because Robert Hainsou did his work, and because Christopher Perkins did his work, people like Matthew Mercer come in and they want to add to what's been done, right? And they want to clarify, right? And Matthew Mercer has done an incredible job of visually clarifying this problem in Dungeons & Dragons, because we have this problem in Dungeons & Dragons where we're like, okay, what's the best way to explain this, right? Very logically, player characters are like, I'm going to kill that dragon. And the Dungeon Master's like, I don't know how to tell you this. This creature is not a threat for you. This creature isn't a threat. This one dragon is a threat for the entire realm, right? On night one, it will go to Phandalin and dust every building and kill 100 people. And then it will go to Neverember and set the whole thing on fire, and it will burn for a month. And then it will go to Waterdeep, right? And it'll kill 1,000 people there, right? This really isn't a threat for you, player character. This is a realm threat, right? And when you see the start of Legends of Vox Machina, you're like, and Vox Machina is like, there's giant dragons in the sky. What are we going to do? Like, we're not going to be able to kill any of these things, right? And what they're saying is, like, in order to kill a dragon, there needs to be generational work, right? You need a lance that was forged 1,000 years ago, right, by 300 people, right? And you're not just going to take your sword and go plink, right? And so I think that's the greatest thing about Vorugal is it is one of these dragons who you look at what it can do and you're like, this is a realm threat. This isn't a job for a single player character. This isn't a job for a player character group. This is a realm threat. The whole realm needs to rally to defeat this thing, right? Very interesting. So thank you for letting me share I'm in incredible joy right now, enjoying Legends of Vox Machina Season 2. Episodes 1 through 3 are up right now. Go watch it. I know people are telling you can't. I know people are saying D&D be gone, which means that you're not allowed to. Buy, own, read, run, watch. Maybe you defy those who are saying D&D be gone. Maybe you think for yourself. That's my humble opinion. I'm eager to hear your humble opinion. When you get in the comments and send your traffic, please consider liking, subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.